So, the KTM 160 Duke is on its way. And let me tell you, this is a whole lot more than just another new bike launch. What we're looking at is a really smart, calculated move by KTM. It's a strategic correction designed to plug a huge, gaping hole in their Indian lineup and completely recalibrate their entire entry-level game. Today, we're going to break down exactly why this bike needs to exist, how they're building it, and most importantly, if it's actually got what it takes to win.
So let's start with the big question. What exactly was the problem? I mean, for a brand that is all about performance, KTM's smaller bikes just had this fundamental mismatch with the Indian market. It created this weird paradox right at the heart of their whole strategy.
And this misalignment, it led to a really strange situation for them. At the very bottom of KTM's lineup in India, you basically had two bikes at completely opposite ends of the spectrum, leaving this giant hole right in the middle, which is exactly where all the action was happening.
Okay, so on one end, you've got the 125 Duke. Now, this bike only exists because of European license rules that limit power. But here in India, we don't have those rules, so its premium price tag just made it feel like a really bad deal. Then, on the other end, you have the fantastic 200 Duke, an amazing bike, thrilling performance, but its higher price put it just out of reach for a lot of riders who wanted to step up from their commuter bikes.
And this wasn't just some theory, The market was practically screaming it. You could see it in all the reviews. Buyers really felt that disconnect. The 125 Duke just didn't have the performance punch to justify its price, leaving this void for riders who wanted that true KTM DNA but couldn't stretch the budget for the 200.
And that gap the KTM left wide open? Well, it wasn't just any gap. It's an incredibly lucrative, incredibly important market segment. For motorcycle manufacturers in India, this segment is an absolute war zone.
Get this, 60,000 units every single month. That's the kind of volume we're talking about in the 150 to 160 cc segment. It is a brutal fight for market share. And for years, KTM didn't even have a contender in the ring. They were just leaving all that money on the table.
And that brings us to the 160 Duke's real mission. This bike isn't just about filling a space in a spreadsheet. No, it's a purpose-built weapon aimed squarely at one specific target: the super popular, super capable Yamaha MT-15. Pretty much every decision KTM made in developing this bike was about how to beat that rival. So the challenge was clear, right? Build a bike that can compete in this tough segment, but do it fast and, crucially, without the massive cost of starting completely from scratch. And the answer lies in a really clever strategy that the whole industry uses. It's called platform rationalization. Basically, instead of reinventing the wheel, you take a proven platform, the frame, the suspension, the overall design, from an existing model, and you build a new bike on top of it. It's smart, it's efficient. And for the 160 Duke, KTM is basing it on the brilliant 200 Duke. And this really shows you KTM's playbook. Step 1, take the excellent 200 Duke chassis. Step 2, rework the engine to hit that 160cc sweet spot. Step 3, what they call decontenting, which means strategically cutting costs in certain areas, like maybe using a simpler LCD display. And step 4, take all those savings and hit a price point that's going to cause some serious trouble for the competition. And the result? It's a motorcycle that's going to look instantly familiar and instantly awesome. It gets that sharp, aggressive, ready-to-race design that everyone loves about the modern Dukes. And for a young rider, getting that top-tier design in a more affordable package, well, that's a massive, massive win.
Okay, so the looks are there, the chassis is premium, but the performance? That's where things get really interesting. To have any chance of beating the MT-15, the 160 Duke had to fix the single biggest complaint about the 125, that power deficit. Just look at these numbers. The old 125 Duke was putting out a pretty tame 14.3 horsepower. Its main rival, the MT-15, is sitting at a very healthy 18.1. But the rumored power for the new 160 Duke, we're talking 19 to 20 horsepower. The goal here isn't just to match the competition, it's to completely dominate it.
This sets up a fascinating showdown on paper. Yamaha has its trick variable valve system, but KTM is fighting back with what it does best: pure, premium mechanical hardware. It's matching the high-end front suspension while bringing what should be a better frame and, of course, that class-leading power. But here's the big strategic gamble. To keep that price down, all the signs are pointing to KTM using a single-channel ABS system. And that is a huge compromise, because its number one rival, the MT-15, comes with a dual-channel system as standard. So that creates a very clear choice for you, the buyer. Do you want the superior hardware from KTM or the better safety feature from Yamaha? It's a really risky bet for KTM to make.
So it looks the part, it's got the chassis, and it promises to have the power. But in a market this competitive, all of that comes down to one single thing.
And that thing is price. The success of this entire project really depends on it. All the projections we're seeing are pointing to an X-Room price somewhere between 1,70,000 and 1,85,000 rupees. And that very narrow window puts it smack dab in a head-to-head price war with the MT-15.
And this chart perfectly captures the feeling out there. This mix of excitement and, honestly, a little bit of anxiety. You see that an incredible 96% of potential buyers absolutely love the bike's concept, but only 54%, just over half, are actually confident that KTM will get the price right. That is a huge trust gap, and it's been built up over years of KTM's premium pricing strategy.
So when you boil it all down, it's a classic trade-off. The strengths are undeniable, right? The brand image, the premium hardware, and what should be best-in-class power. But the risks are just as real. A very price-sensitive audience, that potential safety feature gap with the ABS, and, lingering questions about fuel economy.
And that really puts the reality for the 160 Duke in sharp focus. Success is absolutely not guaranteed here. It is balanced on a knife's edge. Just one small mistake on the final price or the final spec sheet could completely undermine this entire strategic move.
Which leaves us with this one last big question. When this bike finally hits showrooms, are we going to look back at the 160 Duke as a total masterstroke that perfectly filled a gap and conquered a segment? Or is it going to become a what-if story? A brilliant bike that just missed the mark in one of the toughest motorcycle markets on the entire planet. We are definitely going to be watching this one very, very closely.
I've included links with more details in the description below, so be sure to check those out. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Deep Dive, like the video, and ring the bell for more helpful content. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day ahead.